Hey everybody, it's Greg from parkjourney.com with a little bit of a follow-up video from something we put out last week regarding some enhancements that were done over at Six Flags Great Adventure. I'll link to that video here so you can all check it out if you haven't. Basically, there was a whole bunch of improvements they announced, and I actually heard back from the PR department, and there's actually more than what they actually even put in the press release going on at that park, so which is really great. And then obviously wanted to talk a little bit in that video about that we were speculating that some of those enhancements would come to some other parks. And basically, like the afternoon that we put that video out, or the next morning, we actually got some more information from Six Flags Over Georgia about some enhancements they've been making at their park. And then we were told and saw some other announcements that were made by Jeffrey Siebert on his Instagram, who is the president of Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, about some improvements going on at their park as well, in addition to the coaster construction that we shared last week, that it was topped off. So again, I'll link to that video here. So in this video, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about the enhancements that are coming to two additional parks, as I said, Six Flags Over Georgia and Fiesta, Texas. And I also want to talk a little bit about some Flash Pass changes that our sister site, I guess, partner site, Metro Atlanta Coaster Club has kind of uncovered. Since they went to Six Flags Over Georgia for opening weekend. So we'll have a couple of pics from opening weekend as well in this video at Six Flags Over Georgia, some stuff that I wanted to kind of share with you all. But before I get into it, make sure you click below to subscribe to our channel. Greatly appreciated. So we're going to go ahead and start with Six Flags Over Georgia and some of the announcements that they made last week. I'm just basically looking at the press release that they sent us that we posted on our site last week, and I'll link to it in the description of the video as well. So as you can see here, they actually introduced their new pass program. So as you know, Six Flags is kind of doing away with memberships. They started with 4 parks with the new passes, and they're starting to kind of roll them out to the rest of the chain as they were opening. So obviously, not really anything new here as far as the passes, the new pass program. But this is what's been been rolled out to some of the parks over the last few months. So again, nothing really changing here. So some of the other things that they mentioned was that Great American Screen Machine is getting some much needed off-season work done, which means what they're doing is retracking the coaster, renovation of the queue house, and then some new paint. The off-season painting of coasters continues for 2022. So 400 gallons of paint on the coaster structure and queue house. So, which is really great to see. I know that they've been using some of the old Cyclone trains, and there's some talk that that might be affecting it. So hopefully, at some point, in addition to retracking, maybe some new trains or some renovated trains that aren't quite as heavy as the ones that they've been using. They're also doing some new food offerings, JB Southern Charm Burger. So again, one of the things that we've talked with CEO about and their leadership team about was better food, burger. So a lot of new stuff at JB Southern Charm Burger. Not churros. So a delectable dessert featuring golden fried cinnamon tortillas. So basically like like sweet nachos, basically what it is. I'll totally cool with that. And then also they're also doing some healthier food options: chicken Philly salad, crispy chicken salad. I don't know how healthy a crispy chicken salad is, but they are doing it. And then Johnny Rockets Impossible Burger, which they are doing as well. And then they also mentioned the technology and mobile app upgrades, which I'll get into in just a couple of minutes. But as we mentioned in that video last week, your pass is now available on Google Pay and Apple Wallet. I actually used my pass in my Apple Wallet last Friday at Magic Mountain, and it was perfect. No issues at all. And then the Q Smart technology that we kind of talked a little bit about last week in that Great Adventure video as well. But I'll get into the Flash Pass stuff in just a couple of minutes. And then they're also doing some enhanced beautification initiatives, fresh paved parking lots. Hopefully this comes to some other parks. You all know my thoughts on the Magic Mountain parking lot. I know some of you have the same issues. Enhanced landscaping, park restrooms, things like that as well. And then they're also doing some hiring, as you can see here in the press release as well. So again, that's Six Flags Over Georgia. A lot of really great stuff. And in addition to that, RD and Randy did go to opening day of Six Flags Over Georgia on Saturday. So here's a couple of pics of the Great American Scream Machine that they posted on our social media on Saturday. So here's some of the the queue house and everything. It looks great. It's coming along rather nicely. And then also there was some updates to the merchandising as well. So here's a few pics of some of the new merchandise in one of the stores at Six Flags Over Georgia. So some nice zip-up hoodies, some Looney Tunes character shirts. I really like those ones that you see on the left there with the Taz and the Tweety and the Marvin. They basically is just a character shirt. I would have loved to have seen a Roadrunner. It's my favorite Looney Tunes character. I would have totally got one. But next time I'm out at Magic Mountain, I'll definitely take a look and see if they have some of this new merchandise there as well. And hopefully at some point we'll start seeing more, park-specific merchandise, which again is something that we've kind of talked with the Six Flags leadership team about. So again, huge kudos to Six Flags Over Georgia for making some great off-season enhancements. Hopefully those will continue, and we'll again continue to see those at some other parks as well. So in addition to that, Jeffrey Siebert shared some stuff on his personal Instagram over the weekend about the 30th anniversary. So there's some fireworks pics here and things like that. Obviously, pictures of Dr. Diabolical's cliffhanger, which we shared last week, and obviously the topping off of the coaster. And then also talking about the 30th anniversary park improvements, photo ops, restaurant enhancements, benches and more benches, a new neon sign for the Hustler, and landscaping. So again, a lot of these things, really being pushed in the park. And here's a few pictures of what Jeffrey posted on his Instagram. So if you're not following Jeffrey, make sure you are doing that. So again, just really great to see some of these enhancements coming to the parks over the next, few months and few weeks. So which is great. So thanks again to Jeffrey for sharing that. And obviously we'll keep a tab on it and keep sharing some of that with you all. So the other thing I wanted to mention was some things that, again, our partner site, sister site, whatever it is, Metro Atlanta Coaster Club had posted on their social media earlier today, and I'll put a link to their social media in the description as well. Make sure you are following them. But talking a little bit about the Flash Pass, which is going to be app-based moving forward. Right now, when you try to do the Flash Pass in the app, it does open up a website. It's not built into the app yet, but that's actually temporary. And eventually you will be able to actually use your the skip the line or the Flash Pass within your phone app. So this is actually going to include quite a few different things. And I'm going to kind of go over them and what Randy had mentioned on Metro Atlanta Coaster Club. So for 2022, Flash Pass incorporates 3 functions: the original virtual queue system, both the walk-up and the all-season versions, the membership line skip entitlements, and a premium skip the line option where queues can be bypassed for a one-time purchase. So this would be similar to the new Lightning Lane at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. The sign-in button allows you to sign in with your account. Obviously, if you are a Six Flags pass holder, you probably already have an account. And then this basically shows you what options you have, based on what's connected to your pass. So basically, once you tap the attraction, it's going to give you details on the ride and what options you have if you want to bypass the line. So if you have the Flash Pass, the single day or the all season, you'll see the option to join the virtual queue. If you have line skips, which are the ones that are for your membership, like you have 1 or 2 skip the lines, you can claim one of them. And then lastly, you will be able to see a price and an estimated return time for that particular attraction. So, $8 and you got to return, 2 hours later, whatever it is. So, what's really good about this is you don't have to wait in that awful Flash Pass line anymore. If you've done Flash Pass or skipped the line at any of the parks, you know that the process was ridiculous. You're getting a paper receipt, and they're, it's just a very slow, tedious process. And to be honest with you, I have actually stopped using when I go to Magic Mountain, I've actually stopped using my skip the lines, because I can actually go and get on a couple of, coasters, right when the park opens, instead of waiting in that line. So, when I was at Magic Mountain on Friday, within an hour, I rode Twisted Colossus, Riddlers, West Coast Racers, and Apocalypse, and got a whole bunch of video and pictures for our update, in like an hour. And if I had waited in that line, even though it was not very busy when I got there, probably would have, by the time I got to Colossus, it would have been, more than a walk on. And I basically walked on every single one of those coasters. So, like I said, I've actually kind of stopped using it, but I will definitely use it in this case. Obviously, if I can just go on my app or go on the website and pick my attraction. And also, obviously, in addition to that, you don't have to have anything on your wrist or anything like that. It's, you don't have to worry about losing it. It's on your phone, things like that. And then obviously the biggest improvement is, you don't have to decide in advance, what attraction you're going to skip. I would always pretty much pick, Twisted Colossus, with my skip the line, just because it's my favorite ride in the park. And, I would always want to ride it when I was there. So with this new process, I can basically, if I'm walking by something and it's a long wait, I can, or if it's a busy day, I can pick which one I want instead of having to kind of decide at, 10:30 in the morning, what attraction I want to ride. So that's a really nice process. And again, I think it's going to be an overall huge improvement for the parks. It'll be interesting to see what happens with those Flash Pass offices. I know at Magic Mountain, the Flash Pass office is connected to the lockers, and then there's a restroom, or they're rebuilding the restroom right behind it. I know at Discovery Kingdom, it is one of the main stores in the front kind of entry area. I want to say at Great America, it's kind of a store where after you pass the carousel, maybe over by the Wizard, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a few years since I've been in that park and used their Flash Pass. So again, I think it's an overall huge improvement. And allows you to use your phone. We all have mini computers in our pockets now, so why not use them? And I think this is a really good move by the parks. So I'm actually going to pull up the app, or the website on my phone here, and I'll share a screen recording as I'm scrolling through here. So basically, on the website right now, and again, eventually on the app, you will be able to see the wait times. So here we have, Apocalypse is 5 minutes, even though it says closed. Crazanity 5 minutes, Gold Rusher 5 minutes, Full Throttle 25. Basically everything in the park right now at Magic Mountain is 5 minutes, other than Full Throttle, because that's what everybody sees first, and they go right to Full Throttle, right? But you can sort it alphabetically, or you can also sort it by wait time, which is kind of cool. So it will show you the shortest wait times, it looks like, to the longest when you do the wait time. So basically, let's say that I wanted to actually go to Full Throttle here. Eventually, I will actually be able to put in my use my skip the line pass. So I could either I would be able to use my skip the line, which, as you can see, it's not an option here, even though I am logged in. Or I can get on in 2 hours and 4 minutes, so I can go enjoy the rest of the park, and then come back for Full Throttle in 2 hours for $8. So you can see here I can do a single reservation. You can see I can pay by card. Eventually at some point they'll have the Apple Pay and Google Pay in there, and that is something that came directly from my meeting with the CEO as well. So they're definitely working towards that. Or I can go in and I can buy the Flash Pass for the entire day. So I could say I have one person in my party. I want to do the regular, or the gold, or the platinum. Obviously, I would have needed it at Magic Mountain today, but that's really kind of a cool option for doing that. So what it really does, and I've kind of used myself as an example, kind of how I visit the parks. I pretty much get to the parks at opening, anytime, especially if I'm traveling and I'm visiting a park that I don't visit often. I'm always at the park at open, or we always, get there at opening. And, you could get on, a lot of stuff really quick at opening. That's why, when people visit Magic Mountain, they ask for tips and things. And I always, say, start at the back of the park. Don't go to Full Throttle or X2 or Tatsu right away. Go and do, Goliath and Twisted Colossus and kind of go around the park that way, and then kind of come back later in the day and do those. And this kind of gives everybody the option of, okay, hey, I've already done, the entire backside of the park and I'm heading over to Tatsu, in an hour or two, I can go ahead and buy, just Tatsu or just X2 or just Full Throttle, and those three, typically the ones that, kind of have a long wait, pretty much all day. Some of the other rides that kind of ebb and flow and things like that. So again, I think this gets a really good option for people wanting to make the most out of their day and not have to pay for the Flash Pass, the full day Flash Pass all the time. So I think it's a really good choice. I think it's a good option, and I think it will be very successful for both the park and for guests as well. And obviously we'll have to just wait and see how things work out. Hopefully the ratio between standby and Flash Pass is not as terrible as the Lightning Lane has been at Disneyland, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll probably use it a couple times at Magic Mountain just to kind of see how it works, just for reporting purposes. But I'll be honest, I've actually never used Flash Pass at Magic Mountain. It's the only Six Flags park I've ever visited and haven't used Flash Pass at, just because it's my home park. I'm there all the time. Never any reason to do it, but I obviously use my skip the line. But every other Six Flags park I've done, I've used Flash Pass, at least one of my visits. So, we'll kind of keep that in mind as we move around and start traveling this summer and getting to some other parks. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this update. Hope you are enjoying seeing all of these videos about the enhancements coming to Six Flags parks. I know we are actually enjoying sharing them. Hopefully they will continue. And obviously as these enhancements move over to some other Six Flags parks, we will have additional videos and thoughts on all of that. Again, thanks for watching and take care, everybody.